The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Tom O'Brien Show is produced every business day after the market close. Tom takes your phone calls from 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time using the data available at that time.
Let's go to a Bill in Boca Raton. Hey, Bill, what's going on?
Not too much. Enjoying the warm weather in Florida just like you, except on the other coast.
Perfect, man. Perfect.
Yep.
Do you listen on the internet right now?
Yes.
Cool, man. Cool.
No, I enjoy that. That's in your Tiger TV and everything. I've been watching you for years, and you've really taken this whole programming to a level that's just phenomenal.
I appreciate it.
And now, here's Tom O'Brien.
Welcome, folks. This is Tom O'Brien of TFNN. We go 5 days a week. We go 2 hours a day. We go 24 hours a day on the internet at TFNN.com. Always remember, folks, whatever you think about, you bring about. Whatever you focus on grows. Hope everyone's having a great day out there. Safe day. It's a TGIF Friday, folks. Let's make it a great one. Let's take a look at one of our 4 agreements. Serve the one you love. Once you decide to be a couple, you're there to serve the one you love, to serve your love to your lover. In every kiss and every touch, you feel you are there to please the one you love without expecting anything back. Market-wise, let's take a look at it out here. We had the Dow up 125, NASDAQ up 15, S&P's up 6, gold contract down $4.10, traded at $1,747 an ounce. Silver up 47 cents at $39.14 an ounce. Platinum up $7 at $1,795 an ounce. Copper, $3.99 a pound. Light sweet crude down 52 cents, trading out at $85.19 a barrel. Bonds up 1.5 at 136.22. Dollar index off 8 ticks at 74.73. The euro at 142, and the yen is trading out at 76.84. Our phone number is 877-927-6648. Give us a call, folks. Want to know what's going on in your world? In the world of the S&Ps, let's take a look at them. What a week, folks. Nothing like it. So, what do we have out here? We are at 1178.81 right now. You did 1.1 billion versus 1.8. You got over the highs of yesterday, couldn't handle it. Now, what does that mean? Well, on the daily basis, what you have is this. So I was talking about yesterday how we had come down, and you come down with monster volume. Of course, we know we came down on the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 12th, bottom line. Now, what that sets up, folks, is that it's going to be really hard to get back into this 1170 area again. The reason being is that if we go over and we take a look at the SPY, we take a look at the SPY, what you have is this. So the SPY does 294 million today. Well, on the 8th of August, we did 700 million. On the 9th, we did 718. On the 10th, we did 660. And yesterday, we did 487. So what ends up happening now is this. Because of the acceleration was so dramatic, that is actually going to be hard to break if, in fact, you come right back into that area. So that setup is nice for still a bounce. Okay, that's on the daily. Now let's go to the weekly, because what you have on the weekly here is this. On the weekly, you are set up for the bounce and a big bounce, and this is why. The weekly, we came down to $1.10. It was what, 1103 to be exact on the S&P. You closed at $1.18. Now what $1.18 did, folks, is this. It brought you back inside the range from the downdraft, going all the way back up to 1300 S&P. So what that sets up is that, hey, bottom line, believe it or not, yeah, you can bounce all the way up to that 1300. Now what's going to get deviant here is this, is that the setup, the normal setup would be, hey, listen, 1290, 1285, 1249 is where you can bounce to. That's a normal deal. Well, we'll watch and see how we come up to those levels. So what you have right now is that this bounces on. I suspect you're going to get up there. And as we start moving up there, it's going to be how you move up to those levels. Now, that's a short-term deal. Let's take, and we're going to take the S&P because there's something that's really intriguing here. And this is what it is. I'm going to use the SPY to do this. And I'm going to go all the way back. If you're watching Tiger TV now, folks, don't forget, if you're watching on the web, you can go to Channel 1, Tiger TV, You'll see everything live. And I'm going to bring this back, and we'll put it back to 07. And what we did here is this. This week, we came down with 2.8 billion shares, and you went into 2.1 billion shares. And that 2.1 billion shares was the May 10th of 2000, the week of May 7th of 2010. So you can see what we did here. What we did here is that you barreled into that with dramatically higher volume. So what that sets up, number one, is that you're coming back to the lows of last week. Now the key is going to be, of course, at the beginning, do you come back to the lows and you only test the lows, or is an ABC structure on the way down? But we'll take it step by step. Bottom line, you're going to bounce in right now. It's also saying that you're going to be back to the lows. Now, what it's also saying is that because you came in with so dramatically heavier volume, that it is building cause, I suspect, to get to much lower prices. Now, that's on the weekly. What is going to get intriguing here is that what we come in on the monthly. And, you know, we get quite a while before the monthly comes across. The monthly, because May of 2010 was pretty intense, the monthly is 7.4 billion. So if we actually can do less than 7.4 billion on the monthly, well, bottom line is that that means that that number would hold for a much longer period of time. So that's your S&Ps. The Dow Industrials, the Dow set up the exact same way. What the Dow did today, it's up $1.25. On the daily, we're at 11,269. On the weekly, bottom line, the Dow also go back inside the range from last week, and that puts game on for the Dow that can go to 12,282 in about a heartbeat. Pretty amazing. But bottom line, that's what it sets up. Now, we bring the Dow back. You take a look at the Dow. We take it back, and what has it done? It did the same thing. Now, the difference with the Dow is that the Dow Industrials, okay, came into that top of that May of 2010. That was 11,177. Bottom line, got out of there and got out of there pretty quickly. So the bounce is on, no two ways about it. Now, the composite. We take a look at the NASDAQ composite. What you have with the composite is this. She's up $15 today. You did 2.1 billion. We did 3 yesterday. We put this on the weekly, same setup on the composite. The difference with the composite is, and when you set this up, what you're going to see is that the composite, no doubt, is still a stronger indice. The composite out here with the 2507, she wants to, you know, basically get back up into 27, 24. We go look at the NDX 100, and we'll use the 3 Qs to look at that. 3 Qs on the weekly basis, back inside the range. We bring this back to 08, and we take a look at it first off on a weekly. And on a weekly, what you have is this. Now, this is the one that you really want to wrap your head around, and this is why. See, the 3 Qs came down on 823 million. That 823 was going into, now check this out, folks, this is the number, was going into 906. So watch what happened. This is the only indice that's done it thus far. That it actually came into the swing point of May of 2010 with lighter volume. That is telling you the NDX 100 is game here, and it's game in a big way. What that means specifically is that once it broke topside again of the 50.17, that, in fact, is saying that, hey, you know what? That can get up to the highs, which would just be absolutely bizarre, but that's what it's saying. Let's go over and we'll take a look at the small caps and see what the small caps did. We use the Russell 2000. We use the IWM. Small caps out here closed out the week at 69.79. That 69.79 just barely got back inside the range. We take a look at that on the weekly, and what you have is that she still is inside the range from May, and she came in with more volume. So you can see, when you break all of these down, folks, it's the NASDAQ 100. That's the only indice that actually came back into the May 2010 levels, had lighter volume. So when you go sector by sector by sector, what that says is that the Dow is going to come back and test the lows. The composite's going to come back, test the lows. The Russell 2000 is going to come back and test the lows. Now, the NASDAQ 100 doesn't have to. When I get some divergence like that, all you have to do is probability-wise. If all the rest of them are going to come back, the NASDAQ 100 is going to come back. What it also says, though, if you're going to be trading stocks on the way back up, what are you going to be trading? What you want to trade is the NASDAQ 100 stocks, because those are the strongest stocks on the way up. Now, let's go over and we'll take a look at them as to say, okay, so what was the strongest stocks out here today? And you want to do this on a continual basis, by the way. So you want to see, okay, what is giving it some juice? Well, today you had F5 Networks, Yahoo, Urban Outfitters, and Electronic Arts on the way up. They were the leaders. The laggards were NVIDIA, Micron, Sears Holding, and Citrix. Let's go to NVIDIA, because NVIDIA last night, bottom line, came out with numbers. Stock's trading at $16. Stock opens today at $14.86 and sells off. Now, the way NVIDIA is set up, folks, what you have is this. It's a short-term, you did volume out here of 79 million. You're going into a swing point of 33 million. What that says, when you're pushing into swings with higher volume and you fail on price, it's short-term bearish, longer-term bullish. So NVIDIA is going to be really interesting watching the next week, week and a half, because that pushed into all of these swings and pushed in there with dramatically higher volume. We go and we take a look at some of the high-volume stocks out here. We had Bank of America was down 6 cents. You had Citigroup off 44. Wells Fargo was down 16. J.P. Morgan Chase was off 78. You had Charles Schwab up 15 cents. EMC was up 48. Walt Disney was up 97. Now, Disney absolutely got smoked this week. And that was after the numbers look good, but what's happening is that the habits are changing here, folks. And I think what investors picked up on a big way is this, is that you always need the next generation coming out, watching TV, getting, those ads getting generated to them, and that's not happening. What's happening with the younger generations, and I'm talking 30 and younger, what is going on, all the information is on the net. That's where they're getting their information, and these media companies got to change and change very quickly. If you take a look at Disney, what you're looking at there is we're at 33.09, and you talk about barreling. Disney came in with 205 million shares versus that May of 89 million. And, it's a classic. Disney is on its way back to, folks, $26 to $21. So it's going to be some big, big hits there on Disney, no doubt. And that $26 to $21 brings you all the way back to May of 2009. That's the way that's set up right now. And, it's basically clear as it's just screaming out there. And what's screaming is that you had some nice volume in May as you went up to, May of 09. In May of 010, you come barreling down with volume. The stock ended up going from a price point of 31 up to 43 with no volume and just blows apart. This is Tom O'Brien. This is TFNN. Our phone number is 877-927-6648. Give us a call, folks. Want to know what's going on in your world? The TGIF Friday, folks. It's a beautiful thing. We had Honeywell up 225. Big Blue is up 147. We're going to be right back.